In this video, you will learn how to solve multi-step equations. So the goal is to get the a by itself, and notice that the a is on the left side, so let's start on the left side. I see a divide by 5. Inverse operation of division is multiplication, so make sure that you multiply both sides by 5. Those 5's cancel out, so you bring down negative 2a plus 3 equals, on the right side, 1 times 5 is 5. So remember, the goal is to get the a by itself. So now let's get rid of this plus 3. Inverse operation of addition is subtraction, so divide both sides by 3. 3 minus 3 is 0, so bring down the negative 2a. On the right side, 5 minus 3 is 2. The goal is to get the a by itself, and notice that this negative 2 is being multiplied by the a. Inverse operation of multiplication is division, so divide both sides by negative 2. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1, so bring down your 1a. And on the right side, 2 divided by negative 2 equals negative 1. And remember, to check your work, you will substitute this negative 1 for a into the original problem. Example 2. So the goal is to get the x by itself. And notice that on this one, you have a 7x on the left, and then you have a 2x on the right. So the first thing we have to do is get those x's on one side. So let's move the smallest x value. Smallest x value is 2x, and it's positive. Inverse of a positive 2x is a negative 2x, which do on one side, make sure you do on the other side. 2x minus 2x is 0, cancels out. On the left side, 7x minus 2x, that gives you 5x. Bring down the plus 4. On the right side, bring down the negative 1. Go back to the goal. The goal is to get the x by itself. Let's get rid of this plus 4. Inverse operation of addition is subtraction, so subtract both sides by 4. Bring down the 5x. Negative 1 minus 4 is negative 5. Go back to the goal. The goal is to get the x by itself. Notice that this 5 is being multiplied by the x. Inverse operation of multiplication is division, so divide both sides by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Bring down the 1x. Negative 5 divided by 5 is negative 1. Example 3. So in example 3, notice that we have a longer equation. In other words, we have like terms on this one. So let's stay on the left side of the equation. So notice that we have like terms here. We have 2x minus 3x. And again, those are like terms because they both have the variable x. So 2x minus 3x gives you negative 1x. Bring down the plus 6 since it doesn't have a like term. On the right side, let's see if we have any like terms. And we do. You have two constants, positive 2 minus 5. So first, let's bring down the 5x since it doesn't have a like term. And let's combine our like terms. So 2 minus 5 is negative 3. So now that we combine the like terms on the left side and then we combine the like terms on the right side, now let's keep solving for x. Notice that you have a negative 1x on the left, a 5x on the right. Let's get both of those x's on the same side using opposite or inverse operation. Let's move the smallest one, negative 1x. Opposite or inverse is positive 1x, which you do on one side. Make sure you do it on the other side. Negative 1x plus 1x is 0, cancels out. Bring down the 6. On the right side, 5x plus 1x, that gives you 6x. Bring down the minus 3. The goal is to get the x by itself, and notice that the x is on the right side. Let's get rid of this minus 3 by doing inverse operation, which is plus 3. Make sure you add that on both sides. Bring down the 6x. On the left side, 6 plus 3 is 9. Go back to the goal. The goal is to get the x by itself. The x is on the right side, and it's being multiplied by the 6. So inverse operation of multiplication is division. divide both sides by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1x. So 1x equals 9 divided by 6. Simplify the fraction. Both of these are divisible by 3. So the final answer is x equals 3/2. The next example. So notice that on this example, I included the distributive property. If you remember from my last video, distributive property basically means to multiply. And we're going to multiply the number in front of the parenthesis. So on the left side, I see a minus here. This right here is a -1. That's what we're going to distribute here. First, let's bring down the -5x. And now let's distribute. -1 times -7, that's +7. -1 times -4x is plus 4x. On the right side, the number in front of the parenthesis is a -2, so let's distribute that, or in other words, let's multiply by everything on the inside of the parenthesis. -2 times 3x is -6x, and then -2 times -4 gives you +8, so +8. So look at what you have. On the left side of the equation, I see like terms, so let's combine those two. -5x plus 4x. -5x plus 4x is -1x. Bring down the +7. It doesn't have a like term. On the right side, there are no like terms, so just bring both terms down. Go back to the goal. The goal is to get the x by itself. I have a -1x on the left side, -6x on the right side. So let's move this -6x by doing inverse operation, which is +6x. -1x plus 6x is 5x. Bring down the 7. Bring down the 8. Go back to the goal. The goal is to get the x by itself. So let's get rid of this +7. Inverse operation of addition is subtraction. Let's subtract both sides by 7. 7 minus 7 is 0. Cancels out. Bring down the 5x. On the right side, 8 minus 7 is 1. Go back to the goal. The goal is to get the x by itself, and the x is being multiplied by the 5. Inverse operation of multiplication is division, so divide both sides by 5. 5 over 5 is 1, so bring down your 1x. On the right side, 1 divided by 5 stays as 1 over 5, and that is your solution. Our last example. Never mind. So the next example. So let's distribute. So on this problem, you do not add these two numbers. You do not do 10 plus 3 because this 3 here is being multiplied by this quantity. So again, do not do 10 plus 3. What we're going to do with that 3 is distribute. So bring the 10 down. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times -13 is -39. On the right side, distribute the -5. -5 times 1 is -5. -5 times -x is +5x. Bring down the 14. So let's check for like terms. On the left side, 10 minus 29. Correction, 10 minus 39. So first, let's bring down the 3x. Does not have a like term. 10 minus 39 is -29. Bring down the equal sign. On the right side, look for any like terms, and you have some constants. -5 plus 14. So first, let's bring down the 5x. Now let's combine the like terms. -5 plus 14. That gives you a +9. So go back to the goal. The goal is to get the x by itself. I see a 3x on the left, a 5x on the right. Let's move one of those using inverse operation to get them on the same side. I'm going to move the smallest one. Opposite of +3x is -3x. Make sure you do it on both sides. 3x minus 3x is 0. Bring down the negative 29. On the right side, 5x minus 3x gives you 2x. Bring down the plus 9. The goal is to get the x by itself, so let's do the opposite of plus 9, which is minus 9. Make sure you do that on both sides. Bring down the 2x. On the left side, negative 29 minus 9. That gives you a negative 38. Go back to the goal. The goal is to get the x by itself, and the x is being multiplied by 2, so make sure you divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1x, so 1x equals negative 16 if you reduce the fraction. The next problem. The goal is to get the x by itself. The x is on the right side, so let's look at the right side. I see a plus 2. Opposite of plus 2 is a minus 2. So let's do it on both sides. On the left side, negative 8 minus 2, that gives you negative 10. Bring down the negative 2 over 3x. The goal is to get the x by itself. And right now the x is being multiplied by that fraction. So to get rid of the fraction, let's multiply by the reciprocal. So reciprocal of negative 2 over 3 will be negative 3 over 2. And what you do on one side, make sure you do on the other side. So negative times negative is positive. First of all, those turn to a plus. 3 over 3 is 1. 2 over 2 is 1. So you get 1x left over on the left side. Put the negative 10 over 1, multiply across. You get negative 30 over 2. It's actually positive 30 because negative times negative is positive, so it's positive 30 over 2. 30 over 2 reduces to 15. Okay, the last problem. The goal is to get the x by itself. So let's do this one different. Let's start by getting rid of all the fractions. So if you look at the denominators, you have a 3, you have a 2, and you have a 3. So the common denominator there is 6. So to get rid of all these fractions, we're going to multiply the whole equation by 6. Here's why. If you multiply by 6, it'll cancel out every single one of those fractions, or get rid of those fractions. So let's start. 6 times 2 over 3x. So let's use the simplification shortcut from my other video. So 6 times 2 over 3. So remember, 3 goes into 6 2 times, then multiply whatever you have left over. So 2 times 2 is 4. So 4x. Now let's do 6 times 1/2. So 6 times 1/2. So of course, half of 6 is just 3, but let's do the simplification. So 2 goes into 6 3 times, and then 3 times 1 is 3. And the last one, 6 times negative 2 over 3. So 3 goes into 6 2 times, multiply whatever you have left over. So 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. And now we've gotten rid of every single fraction. So go back to the goal. The goal is to get the x by itself. So we're on the left side. Inverse of plus 3 is minus 3. Make sure you do it on both sides. Bring down the 4x. Negative 4 minus 3 is negative 7. The goal is to get the x by itself, and the x is being multiplied by the 4. So inverse operation is division. Divide both sides by 4. So x equals negative 7 over 4. So that was it on solving multi-step equations. Make sure you like the video, comment down below, and subscribe to Palomo TV.